Which side do you fall on?
Oh, Greeny, I fall on your side. You guys remember the movie Varsity Blues when John Voight, the head coach, takes James Vanderbeek, the quarterback, and he smacks him in the head. And he's like, stupid, stupid, stupid. That's what I feel about this idea of bringing Cam Newton to Cleveland. Okay, first of all, are we 1 year removed from Baker Mayfield breaking Peyton Manning and Russell Wilson's rookie passing record for touchdowns? We're 1 year removed, and all of a sudden, that never happened. I'm not discounting his struggles last year, but his struggles last year were, one, being used in the wrong offense, making him play drop-back quarterback, which is not who Baker Mayfield is. Two, this team led the NFL, I think, historically in penalties. They had a head coach who said, I don't really care about my job, and I'm not going to coach penalties. Like, there was a lot of things that set Baker Mayfield up for failure last year. I'm not discounting that he needs to play better. For Marcus to say that they should bring in Cam Newton because you want to find out if Baker Mayfield's good, bring in his competition for the guy who could take his job. One, Baker Mayfield is not the guy that needs competition. He's the fiery competitor that Marcus says needs to tone it down. Two, if you want to find out if he's good, put him on the field. You don't bring in competition for him. I try to make this point to everybody. The backup quarterback's job, number one role, is to get the starter to play well, not to be a really good player, especially when that young player or that player is a young player at that position. The Browns' goal is not to just win this year. It's not to just get good quarterback play this year. It is to develop Baker Mayfield for the next 12 years. Don't just get a guy in that you think can maybe play well here.
You both are wrong because you both said it.
There's no way, Dom.
You both said it. All right, I just let you talk for like 3 minutes. Let Nick go. You said the Browns' job is to develop Baker Mayfield. That's not their job. Job is to win the Super Bowl. Greeny said off the top that Cam Newton is better than Baker Mayfield. If you think that's true, get him in there. He's better than Case Keenum for sure. Get him in there. We all know that Baker's tough. I think Baker's going to have a bounce-back year. I don't think that Cam Newton's presence is going to hinder Baker's development. But I do know that this team will not be built to win a Super Bowl in 3 or 4 years. Whenever Baker gets to the player that you think he's going to be, they're ready to win a Super Bowl now or next year, and then the roster starts to fall apart. So bringing in Cam Newton on a low price is not going to hurt Baker Mayfield.
Let me get Graziano in here. He hasn't had a chance to say a word on this. And what are your thoughts on this? And in particular, I would ask, from the people you talk to, how directly connected, because all the people who brought Baker Mayfield in as the number one pick are no longer there in Cleveland, so how married to him are they from the sense you get?
The sense I get is that they are all in on Baker Mayfield. And remember, Andrew Berry, who is the new GM, was in the Cleveland front office when they drafted Baker Mayfield. He only went to Philadelphia for the 1 year, and now he's back. So he was involved in the decision to draft Baker Mayfield, and everything I've been told by people in that organization is that the front office and ownership and the new coaching staff are believers in Baker Mayfield, and they want him to be the guy going forward. I mean, we can argue back and forth. Obviously, Cam Newton has had the better career, is likely the better player, but the Browns' plan is to build a team around Baker Mayfield. They think they've done that. They feel like they've shored up the offensive line. They think he's going to be a very good player, and they believe in him.
So then I wanted, because we're going to run out of time, to show this tweet again, because it still boggles my mind. And Graziano wasn't here for this. I know, Orlovsky, I promise, I will get you back in on the other thing. But we have to show the Carolina Panthers tweet. This is real. The Carolina Panthers verified Twitter account yesterday posted this question: choose your GOAT, obviously among Panthers legends, and listed as the options Julius Peppers, Steve Smith Sr., and Luke Kuechly. I had to look at it for 5 minutes to make sure I wasn't missing something, and then I looked at the responses, and everyone else responding was saying the same thing I was, which is, where the hell is Cam Newton? So, Dan Graziano, this strikes me as really evidence. All these people who went out and said, you know, the Panthers screwed Cam with the way they handled all of this. I wanted to give them the benefit of the doubt, but I tell you what, to me, this adds fuel to that fire.
It does. Look, Greeny, I think sometimes, like, my role on this show is to be sort of a journalistic voice of reason and say, like, well, here's what may be really going on behind the scenes, while Orlovsky yells things like the Cowboys hate Dak Prescott, and I try to bring reason to the discussion. But in this case, What are you doing, Carolina Panthers? That's insane to leave Cam Newton up. He's the most important player in team history. He's the best player in team history. He's the most memorable player in team history. To have watched and followed Cam Newton's Carolina Panthers career is to have lived through a 30-for-30 documentary about one of the most fascinating players in league history. If I ran the social media account for a franchise that Cam Newton had played for, I would never stop reminding people that he had played for my franchise. I can't even imagine what they were thinking when they put this out yesterday. Boggles the mind.
Golf clap, because I don't have time for any more, but that is exactly right and perfectly said. Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.